Unusual noise. Have you ever been sitting in a perfectly quiet room working on your computer, and suddenly you hear a loud grinding, a rhythmic clicking, or a high-pitched squeal? Computers are designed to be relatively silent machines. The only sound you should normally hear is the gentle, steady whisper of air moving through the cooling fans. When a computer starts sounding like a lawnmower or a ticking clock, it is crying out for help. This is what we call an unusual noise. For your CompTIA A+ Core 1 exam, specifically when you are given a scenario to troubleshoot motherboards, random access memory, central processing units, and power, you must treat an unusual noise as an immediate physical warning. Unlike software glitches or silent memory errors, a noise almost always means a physical, mechanical piece of hardware is breaking down right in front of you. To get your perfect score of 900, you have to be able to listen to the machine, identify the exact type of sound, and map that sound directly to the failing component inside the case. The first and most common type of unusual noise is a loud grinding, rattling, or buzzing sound. In a modern desktop computer, the only parts that physically move are the cooling fans and the mechanical hard disk drives. If you hear a grinding noise, it is almost certainly a failing bearing inside a cooling fan. Over time, the lubricant inside the fan bearing dries up or gets contaminated with dust, causing the plastic fan blades to wobble and scrape against the housing. This can happen to the central processing unit fan, the case exhaust fans, or the fan hidden inside the power supply unit. A rattling or ticking noise, on the other hand, is often caused by a stray internal wire that has drooped down and is physically brushing against the spinning fan blades. To troubleshoot this for the exam, a technician will carefully open the case and briefly stop each case fan from spinning by pressing on the center hub with a finger. If the unusual noise instantly stops when you touch a specific fan, you have found your broken part and simply need to replace it. Another highly testable and incredibly dangerous unusual noise is a sharp, rhythmic clicking sound. This is notoriously known in the information technology industry as the click of death, and it is the sound of a failing mechanical hard disk drive. Inside a traditional hard drive, tiny metal read and write heads fly just nanometers above delicate magnetic platters spinning at thousands of revolutions per minute. If the drive is dropped, or if the internal motor begins to fail from old age, the heads cannot find their proper alignment. The actuator arm will rapidly swing back and forth, hitting its physical stopping point over and over again as it desperately tries to read the data. This creates that loud, repetitive clicking. If you hear this specific sound, the drive is already physically dying, and your absolute first and only priority is to immediately back up the user's data before the drive completely destroys itself. You would then verify the failure by checking the self-monitoring analysis and reporting technology status in the operating system. Finally, you must be prepared to diagnose a very specific electrical noise known as coil whine. This presents as a very high-pitched squealing or scratching noise that changes pitch depending on what you are doing on the screen. Unlike a rattling fan, coil whine is not caused by a moving part. Instead, it is caused by the electromagnetic coils, or inductors, located on the graphics card or inside the power supply unit. When the computer draws a massive amount of electricity to render a high-definition video game or a complex application, the electricity running through those coils causes them to physically vibrate at incredibly high frequencies. This vibration produces a squeal that can be incredibly annoying to the user. While severe coil whine does not necessarily mean the power supply or motherboard is going to explode today, it is a clear sign that the electrical components are being pushed to their absolute maximum limits. If a user complains about a high-pitched squeal that only happens during heavy workloads, you must evaluate the total wattage of the system and consider upgrading to a higher quality, higher capacity power supply unit to provide cleaner power to the motherboard. By learning how to translate these grinding, clicking, and squealing sounds into actionable hardware replacements, you will perfectly master the common symptoms of hardware troubleshooting on your certification test.